Hello guys, Nika here with your daily neuro nugget. I hope you're having a wonderful hump day. We did it. We are kind of halfway there. It is a very tight schedule. Therefore, I'm going to try talking very fast. You can always speed it up, slow it down. Sorry, tight schedule, no backdrop, but I put the hat on for you. And also, I got these stickers made, which is my personal take on the sticker case thing. You guys know what I'm talking about. I've made a video on that as well, but I kind of added my own little twist. Let me know, do you think that I could get away with wearing these in Moscow? Although it is my right. I'm allowed to do this as an American. I'm allowed to put stuff like this on a sticker and put, trust me, I'm a cop, right? This is a mockery of Moscow PD. Yes, and we are allowed to do that. That is the beauty of being in America. We can call out BS when we see it. But if you like the sticker, leave a like in the video and leave a cool comment or a thumbs up in the comment section. Now, we need to address this Pappa Rodger account. We addressed the weird 4chan post yesterday, but let's get right into it because it's just weird. This Facebook profile, Pappa Rodger, people have speculated that it is Brian. Even FBI agents came out and said, this is likely Mr. Koberger coming out and bragging about what he allegedly did. Now, these posts, I was actually tracking when they were being put out there. So I went back, I looked at all the screenshots, and I actually found something that I had not paid attention to before. So take notes. The post on this profile started on November 30th. 2022. This is the same night as the candlelight vigil, and it's also the same day that we heard that Kaylee and Maddie were found together per Steve. Do you guys remember that? Now, the post on November 30th says, of the evidence released, the murder weapon has been consistent as a large fixed blade knife. This leads me to believe they found the sheath. This evidence was released prior to the autopsies. But WTF, that's a big WTF. Why? Because the sheath was not yet a public fact. And only to mention that out in public, out in this profile, like, how did you know? They had only ever mentioned the fixed blade. That's all LE ever had talked about. No mention of a sheath. But here we have Pappa Rodger on November 30th talking about the sheath. Therefore, we can probably come to the conclusion that this was somebody directly involved in the crime or an insider, meaning LE, or both. Another post on November 30th. I believe the unalivers, the other word, the K word, but of course we're not going to say it because we're not going to get deleted or demonetized. I believe the unalivers came from the high side of the house. They were covered in blood after the attack. Is this person referring to the sliding glass door? What do you think? December 1st post. This is on the high side of the house. They found evidence here. It is likely blood dripping from the unalivers. Either they fled through this area or they were parked there. This being the most strategic entrance point to the house. It shows planning. So this person is teasing us with little bits of what seems like known information, or it could be them speculating, except for the one that we talked about before, right? Because again, the sheath had not yet been made public. A post on December 2nd. Did the unalivers drive or walk to and from the scene? Thoughts? Who is posting this stuff? And it's interesting to me because we know that if we follow yesterday's theory, it includes people walking to the crime scene. So something to keep in mind. December 7th post. The Pappa Rodger attaches a Google Trends link of 1122 King Road, which is the same day that Moscow PD came out and announced the white Elantra with their original dates of 2011 to 2013. Now, a lot of YouTubers have said that the 1122 King Road trends happened and started happening when Kohberger moved to Moscow. That would be June and forward. June and peaked apparently in August. But why don't these YouTubers look further back? Because when I do my search, what do I see? I see a search January 1st, 2022. Massive peak. Then there's another search, massive peak, July 1st, 2022. Okay, Kohberger was there. And then there is another massive search, November 1st, 2020. Why are so many people looking at 1122 King Road, November 1st, 2020? Because from what I know, Mr. Kohberger was not even there yet, not in 2020. Is it possible that the people who actually committed the crime were probably looking at the house since 2020? Because we can also come to the conclusion that this crime was very planned. So November 1st, 2020, why that peak of the search? I find it creepy that somebody is Googling that address that far back, and there seems to be a peak every November and end of the year and July. Why? Who is searching this stuff? It obviously has to be people from the area, I believe. Now, it could also have been a fake account made by LE trying to draw the criminal or criminals out and trying to get them to talk or try to track any odd activity. But it's just very strange, right? How do these people or this person, this Pappa Rodgers, how does Pappa Rodgers know stuff and is teasing us with little bits and pieces here and there? Now, Pappa Rodgers, time and time again, continues to ask if the crime was actually SEXUALLY motivated. Again, have to spell it out because I'm not going to get deleted or demonetized. And Pappa Rodgers asks, is it an SEXUAL dysfunction? Like 3, 4, 5 times continues to ask this question. What is the motive? Is it motivated by SEX? So once Pappa Rodgers put that out there, out in the internet, people ran with that theory and really never looked back. A lot of people still believe that the criminal or criminals may have some sort of dysfunction around SEX. Now, going back, looking back from where we are at now, 2024, the first thing that came to my mind when I reread those SEX posts was the boyfriend, the ex, Jack D, because you guys remember that he made several disrespectful comments on Kaylee's post. Something along the lines of, give me a rag to clean up, in a post where Kaylee's wearing a bathing suit. Do you think that's something a good boyfriend would say? Just like that, put it out in the open as a response to a photo where the whole world can see how he's talking to her in this disrespectful manner? So I wonder if Jack D has a dysfunction around SEX. That's just me wondering. Don't make anything of it. This profile. Okay, we see that the profile pic is AI generated and it is one of a Russian soldier. We can see by the hat. So I thought that it's kind of clever because Moscow Russia, and Moscow, Idaho. And for those of you who don't know, Moscow, Russia is pronounced Moscow in Russia. Only us Americans pronounce it as Moscow. So just a funny coincidence, right? Now, we also see this AI image has, these military undertones, and the crime could also be said to have military undertones because there is a military weapon, mention of a weapon, right? The K bar. And the crime took place November 13th. Okay, Veterans Day, November 11th. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. What do you guys think? It's just military undertones for sure. A lot of people say Bryan Kohberger had a military background. No, not really. I have a military background. I'm a veteran, okay? He maybe went to do some, training or some high school training. That doesn't mean you have a military background, by the way. But there is somebody else who does have a military background, did have a military background, and that's the other BK, Brent Kopaka. And we all know how that turned out. What are your thoughts on that? Is it possible that these comments, these posts, this profile was actually made by somebody in the military or with past military training or somebody in LE? Some people have said that the wording comes across as a criminology professor, but I don't think so. I don't think this sounds like Bryan at all. And I don't think it looks like Bryan. You know why? Because when I reanalyzed these screenshots, and again, I had not noticed this the first time. I'm just noticing this. There are 2 spaces after every period. And when we analyze Bryan's other posts that he has made when he was a teenager, which we're going to get into, he doesn't do that. Or when we analyze the survey, it's not written in that way. Therefore, could it be a different person? It is my opinion that the writing style is completely different. And again, I feel like when people are typing, they tend to do things quite automatically. You're probably not thinking, I'm pretending to be another person. Therefore, I'm going to do 2 or 3 spaces after every period when I start every sentence because I'm pretending to be another person. I don't think most people would even think about that. I think when you're typing, again, it comes across as quite automatic. So if you are one of the people that thinks that it was actually Bryan who was the Pappa Rodgers, do you think he thought about that deeply to the point that he needed to be very cautious of how he came across and how he dotted his I's and, where he put his periods, where he capitalized his phrases? I don't know, maybe he is that smart, but I don't think so. Again, I think the writing style is just very different. Some of you have asked me today to cover the post made by Kohberger when he was a teenager and to give you my psych perspective on this. And it's very simple. Again, I'm not his therapist, therefore I'm not gonna go too deeply into these, but I do want to read these for you because some people said they were disturbing. I think they're kind of sad, actually. Again, this is Bryan as a teen saying, "I feel like an organic sack of meat with no self-worth. As I hug my family, I look into their faces. I see nothing. It is like I am looking at a video game, but less." So we know that visual snow and depersonalization is not an excuse to commit a horrific crime like the IDAHO4. There are also many people who suffer from visual snow, but they have never thought of doing something so horrific. Some of the symptoms include not feeling real, things don't feel real, kind of going through the motions of just life in general, maybe feeling emptiness, feeling like life is a game or a movie, but that doesn't turn you into a criminal, right? Symptoms include brain fog, ribbit, sensitivity to light, migraines, visual disturbances, and for people saying, well, that's just Kohberger trying to use the insanity defense. He's going to try to say he's crazy to get out of this. But there's no insanity defense in Idaho, guys. So I don't think so. I don't think so. And just to put things into perspective, I was alive when MySpace existed. Yeah, I had a MySpace or 2 or 3. I don't remember. It was so long ago. But I probably wrote some really weird stuff on there. And if you had, a weird blog or MySpace or Facebook back in the day, let me know down in the comments, because come on, if we were all to put our hands up for writing something weird on social media as a teenager, it's like, we should probably all be putting them up. But let's be honest. Now, the thought of teenager me writing something on MySpace and then affecting my life forever, or affecting how people perceive me because now they see these weird messages of when I was like 13. That would be horrific also, right? Because, ooh, yuck. So I don't think it's fair to judge current Brian Kohberger by the messages he wrote as a teenager. It's just, we change, we evolve. Our brains are still growing, 25 years old. Okay, Brian is now 28. These messages are over a decade old. So who do you guys think is Papa Rodger? I think that it is someone with a military background, and no, not just some random training like Kohberger. I mean, somebody with actual military training. And we know that there are so many officers in Moscow that had military training. So something to keep in mind. People are sick sometimes sick enough to commit horrific crimes as the IDAHO4. And sometimes these sick people are also LE. Don't discount anybody just yet. So, where's my sticker? It's stuck. Ow. I'm not saying they are involved, but I'm not saying they aren't. And by the way, where is Senor Payne? Guess we can't talk about that here, right? Yeah, where is he? That's it. I'm stressed out today. Interesting profile, giving us information before it was even released. I think it's an insider. Who, though? I don't know. If you like the video, leave me a thumbs up. By the way, leave me a comment. I love reading the comments. I love when you guys give me your perspective, because it lets me know what's going through your minds, and maybe I'm missing something. So let's come together and let's hang out in the comment section, because today should be a slow day in my second job. So you guys have a good night. Take care and drink some tea.